Have you ever wondered why ancient spiritual practices like meditation, prayer, or even gratitude can change so deeply the way you feel? It's not just a matter of faith or blind belief. Today, science is beginning to explain what was once seen only as mysticism. Spirituality has moved beyond being viewed as a personal quest and has become the focus of neuroscience, quantum physics, and psychology. This means that while you connect with the divine, you are also transforming the very structure of your brain. When people hear the word spirituality, they often think of something abstract, invisible, or even too subjective to measure. But the truth is that every emotion, every thought, and every spiritual practice leaves physical and measurable traces in the human brain. MRI studies have shown that Tibetan monks in deep meditation change the electrical activity of brain regions linked to happiness and well-being. What was once only intuition is now backed by scientific data. This bridge between science and spirituality opens a whole new path, realizing that you don't have to separate reason from faith, or mind from soul. In fact, the more they work together, the greater the power of transformation. Science explains the how, while spirituality reveals the why. And it is at this meeting point that real change happens. Once you understand this, you realize your brain is not fixed, but moldable, able to reprogram itself according to the energy you choose to feed. Neuroscience calls this phenomenon brain plasticity, the brain's ability to create new connections and reshape its structure through experience. And the most surprising discovery is that simple spiritual practices, like focusing on your breath, visualizing intentions, or cultivating gratitude, can activate this plasticity. This means spirituality is not just emotional comfort, but also a concrete tool to rewire your mental patterns. When you realize you can literally redesign your brain with the power of thought and spirituality, you begin to see the true force you carry within. It's not magic or unreachable. It's science applied to everyday life. Every thought is like a seed planted in your brain, and every spiritual practice is the water nurturing that fertile soil. Over time, these seeds grow into new habits, new perceptions, and a new way of living. In this video, you're going to discover how the science of spirituality is revealing the secrets of the human brain and how you can use this knowledge to transform your own reality. This is not a distant theory. It's a practical, proven, and accessible path. Get ready, because by the end of this content, you will see yourself and your mind in a completely new light. And this might be the key to the transformation you've always been seeking. For a long time, science and spirituality were treated as enemies. On one side, scientists searched for material evidence, numbers, and formulas to explain the universe. On the other side, spiritual masters spoke of faith, energy, and invisible dimensions. The curious thing is that today, what once seemed incompatible is starting to come together in surprising ways. Researchers are discovering that spiritual practices produce measurable effects on both the body and the brain. Faith is no longer seen as just belief. It has become the subject of scientific analysis. Meditation, for example, is one of the most studied practices. Renowned universities have already proven that it reduces stress levels, improves concentration, and even changes the brain structure. But the most fascinating detail is that these benefits are not only psychological, they come with real changes in neural activity. In other words, when you enter a meditative state, your brain literally begins to function differently, as if it were being reprogrammed with every conscious breath. This growing connection between science and spirituality shows us that there are no absolute barriers between the two worlds. What spirituality has always called energy, quantum physics now explains as vibrational fields and infinite possibilities. What was once interpreted as a miracle can today be understood as the result of brain plasticity. The mystical and the scientific are no longer opposites, but complements, revealing the depth of human experience. Carl Jung already said that the human soul cannot be ignored by science. He understood that the unconscious archetypes and spiritual symbols were not just mental creations, but real forces shaping our perception of reality. Today, modern studies confirm this vision by showing that imagination, faith, and spiritual rituals activate brain areas connected to healing and well-being. Science is simply confirming what spirituality has known for thousands of years. The mind is capable of transforming matter. When you understand that spirituality and science walk together, you begin to see the world with new eyes. What was once superstition can now be seen as an inner technology, available to anyone who chooses to practice it. It's as if we discovered that prayer, meditation, and even gratitude are not only symbolic acts, but practical tools to change brain chemistry and align your energy with the quantum field. It's science and spirituality working in harmony. And here lies the key. When you open yourself to this dialogue between reason and faith, you create a much larger field of possibilities than before. You don't need to choose between science or spirituality. The real power comes when you unite both perspectives and understand that every thought, emotion, and spiritual practice can shape your inner and outer reality. And in the next topic, we will dive into this hidden power, brain plasticity, and how it directly responds to spirituality. Modern science has discovered something extraordinary. The brain is not a fixed machine, condemned to repeat the same patterns forever. On the contrary, it has an incredible ability to adapt, known as brain plasticity. This means new neural connections can be created at any moment in life. And the most fascinating detail is that spiritual practices such as meditation, prayer, visualization, and even states of gratitude can activate this plasticity, reshaping the brain from the inside out. Researchers from Harvard and other universities have shown that regular meditation increases gray matter density in areas linked to memory, learning, and empathy. At the same time, it reduces activity in regions connected to stress and anxiety. In other words, what you practice spiritually does not remain only in the realm of faith, it leaves concrete marks on the brain's map. Your brain begins to function differently, more aligned with balance, focus, and well-being. Joe Dispenza, known for uniting science and spirituality, explains that every repeated thought is like a program installed in the brain. When you constantly feed negative emotions, you create circuits of fear, guilt, or limitation. But when you cultivate elevated states of consciousness such as gratitude and love, you make space for new connections that sustain inner transformation. At this point, spirituality and neuroscience meet. Both show that your mind is capable of redesigning your reality. The most impressive part is that this change is not only emotional but also physical. Studies using functional MRI scans have shown that people who practice spirituality regularly have more balanced brains, less reactive, and more resilient in the face of challenges. It's as if spirituality were a kind of mental workout, strengthening specific brain areas just as weight training strengthens the body. The more you practice, the stronger your positive neural network becomes. This explains why so many people report radical changes in their lives after diving into spiritual practices. It is not just a subjective feeling, but a real rewiring of the brain. New neural pathways open, old patterns dissolve, and a new way of perceiving the world begins to emerge. Science calls it neuroplasticity. Spirituality calls it awakening. In truth, both are describing the same thing: the ability to transform from the inside out. And here comes a powerful revelation. If you can reprogram your brain through spiritual practices, it means you are not trapped by the past, by wounds, or by inherited patterns. You hold the key to free yourself from old beliefs and build an entirely new mind. In the next topic, we will explore how spirituality works directly in this invisible field of beliefs, and how it can be used as a concrete tool to reprogram the subconscious. Every deep transformation begins at the level of beliefs. It is there that the invisible limits are stored. defining what you believe is possible or impossible. Many of these beliefs are inherited from family, culture, and even painful past experiences. Science shows that the subconscious stores these patterns like automatic programs, repeated without your awareness. Spirituality, on the other hand, reveals that by changing your emotional frequency, you can dissolve those beliefs and create space for new possibilities. Visualizations, prayers, and affirmations are not just words thrown into the air. They act like direct commands to the subconscious, capable of reprogramming the mind. When you repeat an affirmation with true emotion, you are sending an electrical and chemical signal to the brain, reinforcing a new neural pathway. It's like replacing old software with a new updated one. Once again, science and spirituality meet. What once seemed like blind faith is, in fact, a mental reprogramming technique. Carl Jung once said that what you do not make conscious returns to you as fate. This means that if you don't observe your hidden beliefs, you will keep repeating the same cycles. Spirituality offers the tools for this inner journey, while science explains how these practices rewire brain circuits. By illuminating your shadow, you reinterpret memories and release the energy that was trapped within them. This is where emotional healing and neuroscience walk side by side. Prayer, for example, when practiced with devotion and surrender, creates states of deep calm. This reduces activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center, while strengthening regions linked to trust. Meditation focused on compassion activates brain areas related to empathy, changing how you perceive others. In other words, every spiritual practice is a kind of brain training that installs new beliefs, new perspectives, and ultimately a new reality. This reprogramming does not happen only on the rational level, but also in the energetic field. Quantum physics shows that observation and conscious intention collapse possibilities in the quantum field. This means that when you align thought with elevated emotion, you are literally influencing your external reality. What once looked like a miracle is, in truth, the direct application of the union between science and spirituality. You become a co-creator of your life, and here lies true liberation. When you realize you are not a prisoner of the beliefs you inherited, but a conscious creator of new truths. Spirituality offers the practice, science provides the explanation, and together they reveal that your brain is fertile ground, ready to be renewed. In the next topic, we will explore how this power grows even stronger when mind and heart enter into perfect coherence, forming a bridge with the quantum field. One of the greatest breakthroughs in the union of science and spirituality was the discovery of heart-brain coherence. Research from the HeartMath Institute shows that the heart has a powerful electromagnetic field, capable of influencing the brain and even the surrounding environment. When you enter states of love, gratitude, or compassion, this field becomes more ordered, sending harmonious signals to the brain. This creates a state of coherence, where thought and emotion move together in perfect synchrony. This coherence acts like a key that opens the door to the quantum field. When the mind is in conflict, filled with fear and worry, the signals emitted by the heart and brain become misaligned, generating inner chaos. But when you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, your vibrational frequency shifts completely. It's as if the universe itself responds to this alignment, bringing new possibilities and experiences that reflect the inner state you created. Joe Dispenza explains that it's not enough to simply think positively. You must truly feel it. Thought without emotion is like a seed without water. It has no strength to grow. When you feel gratitude even before seeing the result, you send the brain the message that it is already real. And the quantum field responds by collapsing that possibility into reality. In this way, spirituality shows the path, and science explains the mechanism. Practices such as conscious breathing and heart-centered meditation are powerful tools to generate this coherence. They reduce stress, balance the nervous system, and create an expanded state of awareness. Neuroscience has already proven that these states shift brain waves, bringing the brain closer to frequencies linked to creativity and intuition. It's as if you were tuning your inner antenna to capture higher signals from the quantum field. This heart-brain alignment also has a direct impact on human relationships. People who live in coherence tend to radiate calm, safety, and inspiration to those around them. Their energetic field expands, creating resonance in entire environments. That's why being near someone balanced can bring an instant sense of peace. What spirituality calls a luminous aura, science describes as an ordered electromagnetic field. At the core, this is the secret that connects you to the universe. When thought and emotion become one, you turn into a magnet for new realities. The quantum field does not distinguish between dream and reality. It only responds to the frequency you emit. And in the next topic, we will explore how the future of spiritual science opens the way for a new form of living, where the human mind becomes the bridge between matter and consciousness. As science advances, spirituality is no longer seen as something distant or abstract. More and more, researchers are confirming what sages have been teaching for thousands of years, that the human mind holds an unlimited power of transformation. The future of spiritual science points to a time when practices such as meditation, prayer, and visualization will not be considered just alternatives, but recognized tools for well-being and the evolution of consciousness. This means spirituality is moving beyond the realm of belief and entering the realm of proven experience. Imagine hospitals where, alongside medication, patients are treated with heart-brain coherence techniques. Schools where children learn not only math, but also conscious breathing and gratitude. Companies where decisions are made not only with logic, but from states of vibrational alignment. This future is already beginning to take shape. The central point of this transformation is realizing that the human being is not a victim of circumstances, but an active creator of reality. When science and spirituality unite, we see that our thoughts and emotions not only influence the brain, but also interact with the quantum field. Evolution, then, is no longer just biological. It becomes spiritual and energetic. We are standing at the threshold of a new worldview where everything is interconnected. Carl Jung spoke of the collective unconscious as an invisible network connecting all of humanity. Today, quantum physics describes something similar when it speaks of the field of infinite possibilities. The future of spiritual science may reveal that what you think and feel affects not only your individual life but also the entire human network. By raising your frequency, you contribute to the elevation of the whole. This is the true power of an awakened consciousness. Spiritual science also shows us that we no longer need to choose between faith and reason. We can be rational and spiritual at the same time. We can use data, experiments, and technology to confirm what we already feel in the heart. This union does not diminish spirituality. On the contrary, it amplifies its strength, giving it the backing of scientific evidence. It is as if we are building a definitive bridge between the visible and the invisible. And perhaps this is the greatest invitation of this new era, to take responsibility for your own power of transformation. The future of spiritual science is not only in laboratories or books, but in your daily life and the choices you make, in the thoughts you cultivate and in the emotions you nurture. True progress happens when you understand that your brain is moldable, your energy is creative, and your consciousness is the key to an entirely new world. Now you can see that spirituality is not just a set of beliefs, but a living science that transforms both the brain and consciousness. Every practice, every thought, and every emotion has the power to change not only the way you feel, but also the way your brain functions. What once seemed like a distant mystery is now revealed as a real, measurable process. Faith has gained the support of science, and science has opened its doors to the wisdom of the soul. This union shows that you are not a prisoner of the past, of pain, or of limiting beliefs. On the contrary, you are capable of reprogramming your mind and creating new realities. The brain is plastic, moldable, ready to respond to the energy you choose to cultivate. And spirituality is the tool that guides you through this process, showing that there are no limits for those who choose to live in coherence between heart and mind. Carl Jung used to say that those who look outside dream, but those who look inside awaken. This awakening is exactly what spiritual science reveals, an invitation to turn inward and claim your creative power. It is not about abandoning logic or denying faith, but about uniting both worlds. Wisdom lies in balance, and balance is capable of opening doors that once seemed locked forever. Joe Dispenza reinforces that every time you think and feel in alignment, you are shaping a new destiny. This is not just a beautiful metaphor, it is a proven reality. Your brain responds, your body responds, the quantum field responds. You are an active part of this process, not a passive observer. The science of spirituality shows that your life is not determined only by circumstances, but by the energy you choose to radiate every day. The most important thing is to understand that this transformation is available right now. It is not something for a distant future or for special people. Everyone can practice, everyone can train mind and heart, everyone can reconnect to the quantum field. What changes is the decision. Those who choose to dive into this path discover that within themselves lies the key to reprogram not only the brain, but their entire existence. So the invitation is simple yet profound. Try it. Allow yourself to meditate, to feel gratitude, to align mind and heart. Watch how your perception changes, how your brain responds, how your life begins to reflect this new frequency. The science of spirituality has already proven it is possible. Now it is up to you to take the next step and embrace the role of conscious creator of your reality. This may be the transformation you've been seeking all along.